Hello, everyone. It's Charlton. All right, man. So, Michael Avenatti, the rise and fall of Michael Avenatti. There's a lot to cover here. I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to paraphrase quite a bit. I think he's got three sets of charges. One from a U.S. attorney in New York, and another from a U.S. attorney in Central California, I believe. So they're all federal charges, as I understand it. One is involving extortion, and that's the more sort of high-profile one because the accusation involves a plot to extort nearly $25 million from Nike. Him and another co-conspirator, who I believe is also an attorney, working with him, and I don't know if he's charged, the co-conspirator, and also I believe a coach of an amateur basketball league that previously had a contract with the amateur basketball league previously had a contract with Nike which had expired, and basically I think so that's the I'll get to that in a second. That's the extortion charges. And then he's being charged with bank fraud and wire fraud. Those two things, I don't know how that's considered wire fraud because I think he's being accused of embezzling from the client. He won a settlement for a client, I think $1.6 million on some kind of technology trade secret, whatever. But then he concealed the settlement, or he provided some fake document to his client, stating that it would be paid out in March of 2018, something like that, I believe. And but the reality was that it was being paid out in January. So he kept the money and was using it to pay his legal expenses or expenses to operate his ongoing business, whatever. And so that's I believe that's the wire fraud charges. The bank fraud charges involves a bank in Mississippi, I believe, where he made various claims about paying his taxes and his income or stated net worth. I don't exactly know, in order to secure a loan. So I think that's what that is. But back to the embezzlement or extortion of Nike, which is this elaborate, thing that went on because Nike almost immediately upon being approached by Michael Avenatti based on the language that was being presented to them, they kind of went straight to the authorities. And so I think the attorneys, there's two attorneys that were working on behalf of Nike that are outside counsel that are based in New York City, as well as the in-house counsel of Nike, but I believe one of those three attorneys, I think it's one of the two in New York, the outside counsel working on behalf of Nike, were wearing recording devices, and and recorded the whole thing. Dude, it's definitely very serious. He was arrested today at 11 o'clock after this whole thing with Nike went down. I'll read it to you. He had tweeted this morning. I mean, this is his account. Excuse me. Basically following through with the threat that he said he would do if they didn't come to an agreement, So, but after tweeting this morning, tomorrow would be whatever. What's today? Today's Monday. So tomorrow, Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, we will be holding a press conference to disclose a major high school college basketball scandal perpetrated by Nike that we have uncovered. This criminal conduct reaches the highest levels of Nike and involves some of the biggest names in college basketball. The accusation or the claim being contended by, I think, Avenatti and the co-conspirator number one, the other attorney, as well as this coach who was basically kind of serving, was the client, I guess, was that Nike was funneling payments from, to high school players from universities. I think that's the claim. Anyways, obviously, I don't know that press conference is. I don't know. He's in custody right now. I don't know when he's going to be having his first court appearance. I assume pretty soon. He's got some major trouble, dude. And this is coming the day after or the Monday following the Mueller report and the conclusion yesterday, Sunday, that pretty much exonerated the president. Some people were wondering whether the timing of this might be related to that, and that being that these are U.S. attorneys under the jurisdiction of the Justice Department, which ultimately is under the jurisdiction of the president, I guess. Was this the president exacting his revenge after after being in the president's mind or words fully exonerated by the Mueller report with no collusion, etc., etc. I don't know. I mean, it's a distinct possibility based on Trump's stated claims, that he loves to, he loves to get even with people who go up against him. Dude, man, it's just pretty. And I tell you, CNN was coordinating the two different legal experts. One who was following the case in New York, and one who was following the case in California. And I tell you, man, the CNN didn't seem too sympathetic to Michael Avenatti. So his shine with being the star to the mainstream media, which is long dulled, is not there. And he's got some serious legal troubles ahead of him. So CBS did the best job of basically pulling out this criminal complaint, which is like 11 pages, and I didn't read it. But CBS has kind of got the whole thing of how this kind of investigative thing went down, how they first approached Avenatti first approached Nike, and then Nike immediately informed the authorities. The authorities got involved. Recording devices were used, and further meetings were set up for the purpose of basically, law enforcement to track what was going on and potentially arrest him. I mean, that's kind of what's going on here. Let's just read through it real quick. The criminal complaint New York case says Avenatti, an alleged co-conspirator and attorney identified as CC1, requested a meeting with lawyers representing Nike in New York last Tuesday, March 19th. This happened quickly, man. At the meeting, Avenatti said he represented the coach of an amateur athletic union basketball team in California whose contract with Nike had not been renewed. He said the coach had evidence of Nike employees funneling illegal payments to top high school basketball prospects and their families. All right, so Avenatti allegedly threatened to hold a press conference detailing the allegations to coincide with the beginning of the NCAA basketball tournament and Nike's quarterly earnings call. The complaint says Avenatti offered to scrap the press conference if Nike paid his client $1.5 million and hired Avenatti to conduct an internal investigation of the company. After the meeting, later that afternoon, Nike's attorneys contacted the U.S. Attorney's Office to report the alleged extortion attempt. Okay. On March 20th, the next day, two of the Nike attorneys held a phone call with Avenatti that was recorded by law enforcement. Avenatti allegedly reiterated his demands for payment for him and his client. I'm not effing around with this, and I'm not continuing to play games, Avenatti was recorded saying. As you guys know, enough now to know you've got a serious problem, and it's worth more in exposure to me to just blow the lid off this thing. A few $1 million doesn't move the needle for me. I'm just being really frank with you. I'll go and I'll take $10 billion off your client's market cap, but I'm not effing around, he said. On March 21st, the day of the Nike earnings call and the first day of the NCAA tournament, the group met again in New York with the Nike attorneys recording the meeting. The Nike attorneys asked whether they could arrange to make payment without an internal investigation. If Nike wants to have one confidential settlement and we're done, they can buy that for $22.5 million and we're done. Avenatti is quoted as saying, full confidentiality, we ride off into the sunset. Avenatti set a deadline of Monday, March 25th, today, to reach an agreement and arranged another meeting. Early Monday afternoon, Avenatti tweeted, tomorrow at 11 a.m., we will be holding a press conference to disclose a major high school college basketball scandal perpetrated by Nike that we have uncovered. He was arrested when he showed up for the meeting in New York, U.S. Attorney Jeffrey Berman said at the press conference. Wow, dude. Crazy. In the California case, I'm not going to go into every single thing. So, I mean, the legal expert on CNN was basically saying that the case, I think, in Central California over wire fraud charge and bank fraud charge is a little bit harder to defend. But this, basically, he stopped. The legal expert was saying he stopped representing his client, and he was more or less just representing himself, which is where it started to drift into the realm of extortion. You know, because he initially was wanting $1.5 million for his client, and then a sum which isn't necessarily stated here, for Nike to hire him to conduct this internal investigation of this this accusation. But then it jumped from that to just $22.5 million, and it all goes away. Not necessarily saying for the client, but it's a little murky there. So either way, man, this is pretty. I mean, I think in total between the California charges could get him as much as 55 years, I believe, and in total between California and New York, he could potentially see as much as 107 years. So that is the story there, man. That is the story there. I got to roll. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below, and I will see you in the next video. Later, man.